You're listening to Acoustic Songs live from WNJR studios in Washington, Pennsylvania. I'm your host, T. Mitchell Bell, and we have Heather Kropf here in the studio play some songs for us. How you doing, Heather?
I'm doing great, thanks.
And thank you so much for coming in. Is this your third? Or wait, is this
Visit?
Yeah.
I think it might be, yeah.
I think you may have the record.
What? Okay.
Yeah. I think you may have the record. I think there are like many repeat, but I think you may have the record.
I'm the three-peat.
Yep. There's a couple other folks, Squirrel Hillbillies. Who else? Oh, I don't think Brad Yoder. I've been trying to get Brad back on, but anyway, normally I ask people to play something right off the top. Shake the nerves, kind of get things. It's a Saturday morning. We like to get up on Saturday mornings and play music, right?
Yes, we do.
What are you going to do for us?
Well, because I have a record out this year, I'm going to play something from that. This is called The Good Road.
This is Heather Kropf on Acoustic Songs Live.
Getting to the point of leaving, not so hard to find. You pick your destination and leave the rest behind. The good road is the hard road, and the hard road is in your mind. And the roller coaster ride goes round one more time. I know about your sleepless nights. I know about the rain. I know something of what you love and what you hope to gain. The good road is the hard road, and the hard road is in your mind. And the roller coaster ride goes round one more time, spins one more time, spins one more time.
Nice. Very nice.
Thank you.
So relaxing.
It's a mellow Saturday morning.
Yes.
That's what we're going to be making.
Yeah. And this is off of your new CD, Lights.
Exactly, yeah.
Cool. Got to get a copy to me.
Oh, my God.
Yeah.
I have one upstairs. I should have just brought it down.
Well, I'll get it later.
Okay.
It's cool. We'll get it into the library and get it into the rotation.
Yeah.
So I can't recall the last time. It's probably the last CD
I think it was, yeah. I think it definitely was.
on here. I can't see you because you're sitting down.
Here, I'll stand. Let me stand up.
No, that's cool.
I'm going to stand up when we're talking. It's like church.
Yeah, it's the monitor thing. But so this CD, we were talking a little bit about that. The effort that went in, to recording it, also the level, like the game went up.
It did kind of. That's what I was hoping for.
Yeah, like the game like went up big time. You want to tell people a little bit about what happened there?
Well, I felt like I was writing a lot more at the beginning, at the outset of making my previous record, and then through making this one. I felt like I had a real leap in creativity, and I was writing, and I felt like I wasn't going to be able. I felt like the songs were better than what I was going to be able to do as a self-producer artist, like producing my own stuff. And I was starting to look around for somebody that might be able to articulate what I wanted. And I had a couple hits and misses and lots of starts and stops that really threw me. I mean, in fact, this whole project, even through the promotion, we can maybe talk about that later, but have these sort of tremendous roadblocks to the project, and then always something unfolds that's better than what I expected. And so I had been going through the process for a little while of trying to figure out who to work with and what to do, and it hit me that I should contact bassist. He's a bassist, a producer, multi-instrumentalist, engineer. His name's Lex Price. He lives in Nashville, and I just contacted him and said, hey, this is me. This is what I'm working on. Would you have any interest in collaborating? And I must have caught him at a good time because he's a busy guy. And he's like, well, let's talk. And so we decided, we kind of like sort of felt each other out, I guess, a little bit. And he liked the songs. There was one song in particular that's on the record that was sort of the clincher for him, that was a surprise for me. And that's the song called Winter Sun. And so we worked together. So he wanted to work with me, and then I got in an auto accident. I mean, it's like stuff, like crazy stuff that just really stopped everything. I'm like, I can't do anything. I have a re-aggravation of some concussions, and then he got called out to tour with the Case Langevier's tour last summer, and he was like, I think you're gonna have to find somebody else. And I was like, oh no, now what? And then he got back to me. He's like, wait a second. He got back to me, and he's like, I got 5 days in October. And I was like, this was probably June or July when he let me know. And I was just like, crap, because then we had to start talking about money. And then I had, very squeezed amount of time to get that going, which I thankfully did. And so was able to go down, and he pulled together this amazing group of people, some that he had worked with before and a few that he had just started working with and one that he hadn't before. And so while I loved that the energy was parallel, like I was expanding to work with new people in a new city, in a new format, a new process, because this was a totally different process in every way than what I'd done before. Mm-hmm. And so was he. Like, he was reaching out to people that he hadn't worked with that wanted to. And so for him, it was an experience of also kind of reaching for something a little bit different that was sort of enriching for him. And so we ended up with what we had, and I'm really glad, the whole thing. Yeah.
Because the last, if I remember right, was Chris Parker involved in that one?
He was, yeah.
Okay. And
yes.
Trying to think.
And Jeff Berman was the was the co-producer with me,
right.
but Chris had a key role.
And you did it here in town.
Mm-hmm.
At Cayman. Was it Cayman? No, Red
some of the overdub sessions were there, but the bulk of the basic sessions were at Audible Images, and then I did most all my vocal overdubs at Skip Sanders' home studio.
Gotcha. Yeah, I was trying to remember because I remember you posting some videos and stuff like that of the process, and that was one of the things that we were talking about this earlier, was that when you contacted, when you got in touch with the guy in Nashville, and you realized, like the level like of financial stuff, like everything kind of goes up.
Yeah, but I had spent that much before on projects.
Okay, I got you.
So, but yeah, it was just all in one chunk.
Gotcha. Okay. But I was just amazed at the, I watch a lot of different videos and stuff, and the level of like the quality. I don't know. Did you do that yourself? Did you have somebody else like shooting for you? Like
for my Kickstarter video?
Yeah,
that's my friend Louis Barr. He makes he does all my video stuff.
Oh yeah.
At this point, so
yeah, it was really it was really professionally done, and it just didn't seem like you're sitting down in front of a laptop and you're like, hey, I got this. Hey, there's the update. But it was really, really good. Really professional.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah, I mean.
Yeah, well, he wanted to tell a story, and I knew I had another video up prior to that wasn't connecting, and I knew that we live in such a we're so visual at this point, like with the social media and things, that I felt like if I have a compelling video that kind of really tells about who I am and where I've been, that might be more intriguing to new donors.
And attention spans are so short.
Mm-hmm.
If he's I have a 15-minute video or a 10-minute video, people have a hard time watching it. So like chunking it up, it would probably that makes a lot of sense.
Make it count.
Yeah. So you went down, made the record, had a bunch of pro players, and I mean, not you've had pro players, the guys here in town. But these
are pro on sort of like a nationally touring, and they're just at a different place in their careers.
Did he bring in studio musicians?
He did. Some were session guys, but he when he was touring with Case Langevier's last year, a guy named Steve Moore, who did all the keyboard stuff, and he plays on Laura Veer's records, and Sufjan Stevens, he did something with him. They just met and they hit it off really well. So he came in and did the project. I think he might be a session guy, but he does go out on tours. And then our guitarist works on a television show in LA, so he's got kind of a sweet day job.
Yeah.
And I think does sort of session work and live shows around there. I'm not sure if he's touring much because of what his work schedule is right now.
And did you record it at his home studio, or did you rent out time?
We rented out time at Studio Sound Emporium, Studio B in Nashville. So it's a cozy. I think Lex was saying it was probably one of his favorite studios in town, and I really wanted it to be an experience that he wanted to have as well as me. So I wanted to make sure, like he had talked about some other guitarists prior to getting the guy that we got, and I liked him, but I wasn't like so excited about it. And so I backed up and said, like, I know you're thinking of an indie budget. I'm like, if you got whoever you wanted for this project, who would that be? And then he named the person. He's like, we're not going to get him, but that's who I want. And I was like, well, let's ask, because I listened to him on YouTube, and he was just like, he was ridiculously good. I was like, I don't care what note this man plays. They're going to be great, all of them. And then we got him for 3 days out of the 5. He was able to come in.
It never hurts to...
It never hurts to ask. I mean, that's like, I'm always asking up, like not up because just for the sake of up, but because I think it's the right... Like, I didn't ask Lex because I thought Lex would raise my game in that kind of way. I asked him because I've heard one of his records that he made for an artist, Mindy Smith, I listen to all the time. Like, I love that record. He makes artists sound great. And so I knew that he would give me the atmosphere and depth, but he would also keep it focused on who I am. Mm-hmm. And that's what he did. Like, he made this beautiful record, but my voice didn't get lost in it. And so that's why I asked him, and I'm so glad he said yes. So,
that's cool.
Yeah.
Well, so speaking of, you want to do another song for us?
Yeah.
Cool.
That's why we're here.
And while she's adjusting her mic, go to heatherkropf.com. Check out her website. That's Heather, KROPF.com.
All right, I'm going to do a tune called Ghost Town. It's kind of a longer one to offset the shorter one I just did.
Okay.
You never say no. You just deflect the question. I'm not the enemy. Excuse me.
You know what? I need to take a drink. I'm so sorry to do this live.
No, that's it happens. You would be surprised How often?
I live in an apartment with radiators.
Ah.
And you've got moving air in here.
Yes, it bothers me too. Believe me. And cats and dogs.
Woo! All right. I'll just start without the intro. see how far I get. You never say no. You just deflect the question. I'm not the enemy. No, and I've never been one. It's that voice inside your head. Yeah, I got one too. She lays it on thick with everything you do. And the world keeps tearing itself apart. Wildfire and broken hearts. Boys with their hands up in the air saying, don't shoot, don't shoot. This town means nothing. It's timber bones and bricks for skin. Without you here, feels like a ghost town I'm living in. Feels like a ghost town I'm living in. All the places we haunted, all the smoky bars, the restaurants. I remember just how it started. Now you say love's not what you want. It's that voice inside your head. Yeah, I got one too. She makes a case for keeping clean from the mess that love will put you through. And the ocean coral bleaches. There's a fraying strand between us. And the trains, they keep on running, just like they always do, just like they always do. This town means nothing. It's timber bones and bricks for skin. Without you here, feels like a ghost town we're living in. Feels like a ghost town we're living in. You're the static on the radio. The station's live, there's no one on the phone. And without your love, this place don't feel like home. It just don't feel like home. The world keeps tearing itself apart. Street fire and broken hearts. Boys with their hands up in the air saying, don't shoot, don't shoot. This town means nothing. It's timber bones and bricks for skin. Without you here, feels like a ghost town I'm living in. Feels like a ghost town I'm living in. A ghost town I'm living in.
Way to recover. from
Thank you.
And if you need to take a break and get some water or something.
Well, I have tea. It's just,
I have I have songs queued up that I could play for you while you're like, okay, I got to go get something.
Okay,
so I don't feel like you have to muddle through it.
Yeah.
Sometimes artists will bring in CDs and I'll pop them in. They'll take a little break
Yeah. I should do that. I should go get a copy so you can play one of the tracks.
Yeah.
From the record.
Yeah. Now we were talking a little bit about the whole. So you made the recording, and then you get the promotion part of it. Now, I know that you play in New York.
I do.
Rockwood,
I make a point.
right?
Yeah, there's a couple guitarists out there that I can play with when I go out. So and a guy plays sax. So it's nice to just go out and just have their sound on my stuff
And then,
from time to time.
And then getting it out into radio stations, you have that background, like how that whole process,
well,
that
I mean,
stuff
I
works.
did radio for a little while, and I have a radio promoter that's kind of waiting to go on this one, and I just need to get it going. So
So there's another. You were talking about another fundraising thing that you're doing, or
no, I'm not going to. I'm not sure what I'm going to do, but the promotion part. I've tended after every record had some kind of health thing go on, so I've never gotten to the point of being done with a record and had the ability, in terms of personal wellness, to actually promote one. So this is the first one. It got made in less than 3 months. I mean, the actual making of it, it was, 3 weeks to make the record, and then he mixed it and we tweaked stuff. So I have all this time now, and so it's a real learning curve. Like, I feel like I've done a lot with music as my 5th record, but really it's the first one that I'm learning how to promote as an indie artist. It's fascinating. I'm working with a music mentor right now and in an artist mastermind. There's artists all over the country in our group, and it's just so fascinating to learn how the business side works and to make it work for each artist for themselves. And that's sort of like the beauty of being an independent artist, is you can make it work however you work. You fit it around your personal work style. Like, some people like to post to social media. It would be recommended to post to social media once a day or a couple times a day. That's just not how I work, so I'm not going to do that. I post when I'm inspired, and that's sort of how I write, and that's how I make records. It's like, it's all inspiration based, and that's fine, right? I just have to make it consistent. Things like that. Yeah,
and there's so much advice out there. There's just almost too much information of what to do. I remember just having to, it's like, put it on every site that you can, and you're all over the place. And then, this is like, you really don't have any way to track all that kind of stuff. And it's like, try to figure out, well, what demographic am I, not that this is a music business podcast, but, going through this process, it's kind of, it's such a learning curve, like, you have a day job and you have a learning curve of your regular job, but then you have like this job where all of a sudden you have to wear the business parts, the hats, the promotion, and all this other bookings and all this other kind of stuff. And there's really no place to kind of like go to like find out, well, how do I do this, unless you turn it over to somebody else and pay them. They've done it.
And there's some people that have just a real natural gift for knowing who they are and manifesting what they want. Like, it's just, some artists just really have that knack, and it's beautiful to watch them, sort of go after, like, do it. And then some people, they're good at one thing instead of, they don't quite have the understanding of the whole thing. And that's sort of me. I'm like sort of perennially interested in how to do it, but not necessarily brilliant in doing it. And and part of it, I just like learning. So, like, the thing that I've never done before, which might completely bore people who are listening to this, is branding. I've never, ever done branding. And so I'm in this process right now of trying to understand why I'm doing what I'm doing, how it affects people, and getting feedback from people. And it's so cool because everybody's saying essentially the same thing. And I'm getting this word picture and this feeling picture, colors, sounds like, for fans of kind of thing. And it's so cool to have that, because now I know, it helps me know, like, where should I play shows? What kind of imagery should I be presenting? And it's just so interesting. And it's not, and I can make it as artistic as I want to, and in my own way. It's just, I don't know. I could just kind of geek out on that, because that's where my brain is right now.
Yeah, it's like finding your tribe. You know,
Yeah.
what tribe? What is your tribe? Like, where do you fit in? And that's difficult to kind of narrow that down. And I don't know, depending on your personality too. I tend to be introverted, extroverted, kind of more extroverted when I play, but then more introverted when I don't have a, like, promoting myself is a weird thing. It's almost like you're like, hey, look at me. Like, I have a really weird, like,
I think that's a struggle for a lot of creative people.
Yeah.
For a large number, yeah, because there's part of it is like the reverence for the work. And sometimes a lot of people, like for me anyway, I don't see it as being about me. It's really about me pursuing the craft of songwriting. I'm a writer, at the heart, I'm a writer. And I perform what I write, and I'm not a performer.
Right.
First and foremost.
An entertainer.
Yeah, and some other people just have a knack and a charisma on stage, and they're good writers, and they would maybe say, like, so we both know Joy Ike, and Joy Ike hugely prefers to be on stage in front of people performing than in the studio. And I would much rather be in a studio with a bunch of other, like, amazing creative people making something, so it's just really where the focus is.
Yeah. Yeah. So in case you just joined us, you're listening to Acoustic Songs Live, and we are here at WNJR Studios at Washington and Jefferson College at 91.7 FM in Washington, PA. And I'm your host, T. Mitchell Bell, and Heather Kropf has been playing some music for us from her new CD. And you want to do another tune?
Yeah, sure. I'll do another tune.
Okay, cool.
This one is called Keep On Walking, and it's a song I kind of wrote as a pep talk. A lot of these songs were kind of written with the backdrop of our culture that we're in at this point. This real overt, all of our issues are overt right now.
Yeah.
So, okay.
There's a little stone I keep inside my pocket that my fingers are turning to remind myself I am already home. You're the reason I keep on walking. Make this fragile sound, keep on walking. Keep on walking until you come around. Keep on walking. Leave my story I've been telling far behind. It's not here now. Leave the stories I imagine in my mind. Never fear how. Just keep on walking, making choices I believe. Keep on walking. Just keep on walking, 'cause I'm done with being deceived. Keep on walking. Love me a little, I adore you. Nothing seems to be just what it seems. Just keep waiting till you see the cracks that show a little light. They're not fading. Just keep on walking. It may break and it may bend you. Just keep on walking. It may mend and it may end you. Just keep on walking. Make this fragile sound. Keep on walking. Just keep on walking until you come around. Keep on walking. Hey, love me a little, I adore you.
Really nice song.
Thank you.
Yeah. So that's the inspirational kind of like
Yeah.
keep on
Keep
keeping on,
Keep
huh?
on keeping on. Exactly.
The keep on trucking guy. Remember the poster with the? I don't know if you remember. I'm probably a little older than you are, so I remember that
Well,
poster. Keep
and
on
someone
trucking.
told me that. Yeah, exactly. Someone told me that the wheel in the sky keeps on turning. Like that. Like that's in there. I totally didn't.
I
really.
didn't catch that.
I didn't either.
I'm like-
Someone pointed that out.
And I'm an old school like Journey guy. Saw him like 4 times. So I was like, I admit it. So we were I was thinking about things to talk about today.
Yeah.
And the fair play stuff.
Yeah.
They were talking about the Pittsburgh music scene and stuff. The different clubs closing down. We lost 2 big ones, the BBT and James Street, and so more BBT. They had the song, Pittsburgh songwriters stuff, and plus they not that James Street was more of a jazz club. I realized that, but still these are important things in the Pittsburgh music history stuff, and I'm thinking, well, what's the replacement then? Because things do change and evolve.
Exactly.
Yeah.
There's always these waves of things coming and going.
Yeah. So the latest announcement was there was going to be the old Civic Arena parking area. Now there's going to be a developer that comes in and puts in, and there will be some type of music, place there.
Yeah.
I hope I hope it's not, some kind of strip mall kind of looking kind of thing, that type of thing. Because, like James Street and the BBT, like such character to those places,
Right.
I mean, it's, it's so fair play. You've been involved in that for a while. Tell me,
Yeah.
tell a little bit
back
about
in 2015, I had seen over the years the fair trade music concept, which is really parts of musician unions in cities that are sort of club musician oriented and creating good working environments for club musicians, and partnering with venues and then being able to share it with audiences that this is a venue where your content creators are being taken care of, and so people could make a conscientious decision to spend money at those venues to see their favorite bands. Anyway, so it's a win-win-win. And I thought, what a cool idea. Maybe we should look at something like that here. And so I went and talked to Christiana Leach at the Greater Pittsburgh Arts Council, and she's been partnering with me for the past 2 years now. We approached our union. They didn't go for it. The Pittsburgh Musicians Union didn't go for it. And so we just changed the name to Fair Play and started holding public open meetings that were heavily focused on presenting musician voices and gathering data. So we ask 3 simple questions at these meetings, and then we just listen and gather data. And themes are emerging of what seems to be important, what's here, what's missing, what we want. And my whole thought of this was really mostly just to raise consciousness and to understand, like, is there actually a need for this? Maybe people's experiences are so vastly different that there's no need for something like fair trade. But then with the closing of BBT and James Street and the work with WYAP to bring in Don Pitts from Austin as a consultant for the city to look at the whole ecosystem, it became really clear and very cool that we had already been laying a lot of groundwork and gathering data for almost 2 years now. So so our information is being really useful to that process, which is super cool. I'm like so glad. Like I'd love to be able to find ways to make it possible for people who can't tour for whatever reason to be able to earn a more sustainable living working in the city. And some are and some aren't. So it sort of depends on genre and ability and a whole lot of like intangibles. But if the city can create some structure to actually support the creative class in that way, like musical artists, I think that would be a really cool outcome. I'm not sure where we're headed yet. It's going to kind of depend on interest. So
yeah, and that's that. I mean, that's commended to be working on that because I would like to be involved in some way in that because answering those questions is really important because there are other places like other cities that you can do that. I mean, Nashville, I know it's like there's just so many people that it's almost like it's hard to make a living playing out because there's so many people trying to play out. And you're almost like, playing for nothing because there's so many people there. But it's also a hub that people go there like, I'm on tour, and they're just making connections and all that kind of stuff. There's a scene. Austin, there's a scene, no matter where, like somewhere. And I don't think anybody could really describe what it is. They've been trying to describe, what is it? What is Pittsburgh? What's the Pittsburgh scene?
That's actually, it's interesting you say that because one of the comments that came up from one of our meetings was that there was someone who says, I don't know if Pittsburgh knows what its sound is.
Yeah.
And I thought that was a really astute observation. I don't know what we create on the whole for culture at large,
I knew what it was.
Yeah.
I mean, I can, like kind of an idea of what it used to be like. But maybe it's transitioning so much and so fast that we just don't know yet. That's true.
Yeah.
And it should, there should be transition because if it does get stale, then people don't go out, to hear artists. So, but yeah, I don't think anybody can define it. I mean, is there a Pittsburgh sound? Is there a Pittsburgh scene? A lot of it comes out of the, Acoustic Cafe stuff that was that at one point, everybody that kind of moved towards that, and came out of that. I know that scene. But then there's all these other...
There's lots of little scenes happening in Pittsburgh, for sure.
Yeah, was it Deutschtown Music Festival, that... I was like, well, where'd all these bands come from? I have never heard of these guys. There's like this whole thing,
There's a ton of stuff going on. And it's, we have 4 more meetings coming up for Fair Play. So, and if the way to find out would be to just go to Fair Play Pittsburgh Music on Facebook and join the group, or else go to our Tumblr site, which is just Fair Play Pittsburgh Music, and we'll announce there. But or go to Greater Pittsburgh Arts Council's events pages, and those are because you register through their page. But yeah, there's a lot going on, and it's fun to learn how much is going on by holding space for this process to kind of happen. And I don't actually care where it goes, but wherever the majority is interested, and if there's energy and interest in going in a particular direction, more power to us. I can't swear on, I don't care. Mm-hmm. It's mostly, I just want people thinking about how to make it work for everybody. Because right now, from the 5 meetings we've had so far, it clearly does not work for everybody. And that means everybody. Like some venues it works for and some it doesn't. Mm-hmm. Artists it works for, artists it doesn't. Promoters it works for, promoters it doesn't. Like across the board, it's not working for everybody. Mm-hmm. And I know that might be sort of a utopian vision, but there are, I think, some simple things we could probably start doing that would make it easier right away. And then it looks like there may be some long game planning emerging to like actually change the culture of the state of Pennsylvania. And then that's where it's kind of trending. So we don't know. That's like 10 years project or 15-year project. It's kind of exciting.
Yeah, I'm interested. The union, I checked into joining the Pittsburgh Musicians Union. It's expensive, and it's more geared towards symphony players from what I've seen.
Well, that's exactly, yeah, and that's where we got stuck. It's like, I think their perspective was, we don't have club musicians as members, so why should we say yes to fair trade?
Yeah.
And at the same point, it's like, well, you don't serve club musicians, and if you had fair trade, you might see a huge influx of memberships from people like myself, but yeah, it's
yeah.
And I don't know, I haven't seen a single, not to like poo-poo the musicians union because they're probably doing fine work what they're doing, but I haven't seen anything cross my social media in response to Don coming to the city to look at the ecosystem, in response to fair play, mm-hmm. in response to any of the stuff like venues closing. Mm-hmm. Where are they? Yeah. I don't know where they are.
Yeah, there's Ann Feeney used to be president.
Yeah,
that's really cool. When I was like, you did. And when I talking to her, I was like, wow, that's cool.
Yeah,
there's one in the South Hills. I forget what town. It's I don't know if it's Monessen or something. There's one of the other unions.
Okay.
Little. I think they do more of that kind of stuff, like
mm-hmm.
the club stuff. But then there's also the one out of New York. I know Tom Briding belongs to that one.
Okay.
The AF, what is like 100 or 1,000 or something like that.
Yeah, he's definitely a union guy. I mean, we don't have
towards, touring people,
okay.
more towards that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not as expensive to join too. So they do.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think. I mean, Christiana, and we've just added Lauren Demichet onto our little team of people. We try to make it really clear at meetings that we don't own the process. I mean, we're not attempting to create a union. If people want that, sure, we'll go down that path. But we're not directing the process. If anybody has an idea sparked from a meeting or makes a connection with someone else in the audience, and they decide to go do something to make the scene better or to like solve an issue that's emerging in the conversation, cool. Like everybody's empowered. We're hoping everyone feels empowered to take on whatever piece they think is interesting to them.
Yeah, that's cool.
Or nothing, if they don't think any of it's something they want to work on.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Well, hey, in case you just joined us, I'm your host, T. Mitchell Bell. This is Acoustic Songs Live from WNJR Studios in Washington, Pennsylvania. And Heather Kropf is here in the studio playing some songs for us. Do you want to do another one?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll do one more. And then should I grab my CD?
Actually, we have a second hour where we play music, and I can work it into that.
Work it in there.
Yeah, instead of on the live program. It's entirely up to you.
That's fine. Let's do that.
Okay.
Okay.
So, is this off of the latest one, too?
This will also be on the record. This was actually what we thought, or I thought might be the title track. It's called Dream of Dreams. And then, this was the last song I finished singing with Lex in his home studio, and we were talking about the title for the record, and he was like, I don't really like that. And I was like, yeah, you're right. that's not the title of this record, is it? He's like, no. So we changed it. We changed it 2 more times.
On any other night, she'd be beside you sleeping. Of all the dreams she dreams, her favorite ones are flying. Ooh, flying over houses. Ooh, floating over trees. Ooh, she likes dreams like these. In any other year, she could hear you breathing, could hear the rise and fall, and never dream of leaving. Ooh, there is no other mountain. Ooh, there is no other sea. Ooh, should never dream of these. When you have found a home, you find your chest is hollow. It's filled with light and spills to change all your tomorrows. Ooh, love is like a big wave. Ooh, sometimes you can't breathe. But the dream won't leave. It clears away all those sweet and bitter ties of yesterday. You catch a glimpse while you're asleep. There comes a time you're wide awake. You recognize it by the way that your heart aches. So you follow it no matter where it goes. Oh, over any mountain. Oh, over endless seas. Oh, riding on the big wave. Oh, it's the dream of dreams. On any other night, she'd be beside you sleeping. Of all the dreams she dreams, her favorite ones are flying.
Really nice song.
Thank you.
Oh man, that sounded so great. Just put me in a chill, like I could be floating on the water somewhere, you know?
Yeah, thanks.
Yeah, like a sailboat or something, you know? Oh, nice. I was looking over at your website. Remember when you did this, you did a like live to vinyl recording thing?
I did, yeah.
Yeah, talk about that a little bit.
That was just a little thing that popped up this year. There's a guy named Aaron. What's his last name? He has a label called Least of All in Brooklyn, and contacted me and said, "Hey, would you be interested in doing this project?" He does these office sessions in his studio, which was like, a quarter of the size of this room, and records on these 7-inch singles. I guess they're plastic, like direct. So it's one take going directly to this one object. Mm-hmm. And they're one of a kinds, like making wood prints or something. So they're additions. And invited me to come and play. And I was already playing in Rockwood in July. And so we lined it up to happen during then. And so my friend Chris Parker, who was playing at Rockwood with me, showed up at the studio for Least of All. And we did 14 of these little vinyls of different takes of different songs.
Oh, okay. So each one is, they're not making a copy of it.
There are no copies. They're singles. Like they're individual, unique works of music.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So I have those and I try to sell them because I think they're so cool. And there's something sort of legitimately amazing about hearing your own song playing on a record.
Yeah.
And I think maybe it harkens back to because that's how I first heard music.
Yeah.
But there's also something sort of magical about something spinning and it's something mechanical about it that's kind of cool.
Yeah.
Anyway, and they turned out really well. I was really happy. We tried 2 new tunes on there, so there's some bobbles and mistakes are all part of it. It's just a cool project. And now he's got, I think he's probably done 200 of these office sessions by now. So if you're a collector, you can always just collect these one-of-a-kind things.
So it's kind of like the, what is it? The NPR does the in-studio thing, but it's like in the office,
Yeah.
Like that, what is it? Oh, Tiny Desk.
The Tiny Desk concerts.
Tiny Desk, but with a little vinyl recording
Tiny Desk
made.
with a recording and no duplications.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So I give you an opportunity to talk about your new day thing that you're doing here with you became certified.
Oh, you want me to talk about feng shui?
Yeah, a little bit. I mean, why not? It's on your website.
It is on my website.
So
I've been really fascinated with energy in all forms, and I think that's part of some of the themes in the songs is talking about energy, and for me, an energy of love as an energy, mm-hmm. and how that impacts the world and myself personally and others. And so I went to San Diego and studied at a feng shui school 2 years ago with a master teacher and became certified last fall. Like I was turning in my certification papers in between vocal sessions. I was submitting my reports. It was kind of nuts. But yeah, I feel like feng shui is a lot like music. It's working with energy in space and visually and intuitively. And it's so fascinating to work with people to help them create environments that feel good. Like you listen to music that makes you feel good, and environments can do the same thing. So it's sort of an extension, a side interest. I'm not pursuing it as much as I'm pursuing music, but it's definitely something that I want out there. And I worked with a lot of my case studies were artists, and I found themes in people's home lives that were mirroring. I mean, your environment mirrors you, right?
Mm-hmm.
Your issues are showing up in your environment.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they just are. And then your environment has its own issues, which you can correct with feng shui. But so it kind of all works together, and I just felt like if anybody's interested in working with me, I'll throw that up there and be happy to go into people's homes and hear about their lives and help them set their space up to support them,
Yeah, and I like the it's come out of Eastern. It probably comes out of Eastern philosophy and
yeah, it's very old. It's actually I learned classical feng shui. It's 5,000 years old or something, and it was the foundation for acupuncture. So it's got a huge, long, very well supported lineage.
Yeah. Okay. Well, we're getting close to the end of the show. You want to play something to take us out?
Yeah, sure. I'll play. Where are we at with time?
Yeah.
Holy cow. Okay, so I'm going to play a new one.
Cool. Yeah, we're
thanks
good. We got.
having me.
I mean, we roll over. It's fine. But
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to play a song called "The Weekend."
And you
Kinda
have
have to-
you have a show coming up here.
I do. My last solo performance of the year is November 16 at Mansions on 5th. It's a boutique hotel in Shadyside in Pittsburgh, and they're trying to do this live music series on Thursdays, and so they kind of. It's such a beautiful space. It's gorgeous space. And so they have this, complimentary charcuterie platter and discounts on drinks, and you can just come and hang out in old Pittsburgh mansion life.
Wow.
And hear some music at the same time. So
Cool. All right.
all right, this is called The Weekend.
The weekend's almost over. I don't want to read the news. The streets are full of lovers. The skies are full of blues. If you are somebody's someone, and it makes you feel high, if the moon cuts through the streetlights and the concrete spines, don't try to figure it out. The glow and the way that it holds you now, don't try to figure it out tonight. I've been kicking cans for years now, down the city streets. I've been holding out for something, makes this lonely heart beat. If you are somebody, someone, and it makes you feel high, if you never knew the difference between love and getting by, don't try to figure it out. The glow and the way that it holds you now, don't try to figure it out tonight. Cause I have heard a rumor that it's all the same if you sleep to the end of the line or see it through. There's a moon that lives in a sky so full of blue. Don't try to figure it out. The glow and the way that it holds you now, don't try to figure it out tonight. Not tonight. Not tonight.
was Heather Kropf here on Acoustic Songs Live, and now for the second part of the show, you can hear some of the artists that have performed live. Thanks, Heather, for being on the show, and we'll see you next live show is with Adrian and Meredith coming up, and we always tune in here at WNJR.org, 91.7 FM in Washington, PA. Stay tuned.